YouTube crew, it is Multiplier here to tell you how I light my studio for videos such as this one, or this one, or this one again, or any of the other videos on my channel. Now you're probably wondering, Multiplier, what you doing a video on lighting the studio for? Don't you just walk into the room and press the light switch? Because that's typically the way most people turn the lights on. All the windows. There's some windows in here. You probably got a clue already. When I did the spin, you might be wondering, before I did the spin, don't you just use the windows? Well, there's a lot more to it. Let me explain. The super secret special answer is I use a softbox, but there's some important information you need to know about a softbox. And the important information is regarding temperature of light. Now, again, you're probably wondering, what are you on about, Multiplier? Light doesn't have temperature. Fire has temperature, ice cubes have temperature, but light also has temperature. And chances are you may have found this out the hard way if you've ever filmed something indoors with a different sort of lamps, or maybe a combination of lamp and window. And that's because the light that comes in from the sky is different to the light you see from a normal sort of light bulb or a lamp or some form of normal sort of household appliance lamp. Therefore, in these softer boxes, you get special bulbs, which I shall show you. So, boing out, just stepped on my foot. So, these special bulbs, while also being massive and super bright and stuff, the important thing about them is they are a special temperature. They're a special temperature called daylight. From memory, I think it is 5,500 K. Whatever that means, I will confirm with some text now. Brilliant. Did I get it right? Well, I'll find out in the edit, but that's good. So the important thing here, the super important thing here is these. So I'm going to say it again because it's so important. These are daylight temperature. And the cool thing about that is if you have daylight temperature bulbs, when it mixes in, just like you're mixing a track with the dubstep light coming in from the outside, or daylight, that's why these are called daylight bulbs. So daylight bulbs and daylight combine in a natural way, and it all just feels like the same sort of thing. Brilliant! If you're only filming at night time, say using some sort of like light from the ceiling or a lamp, then sometimes you can get it working alright if all the bulbs are the same temperature, but chances are, again, if you're only filming at night, there simply won't be enough light in the room to basically be enough light in the room. Whether it's a webcam sort of thing like I have here for some of my videos, the screen recording ones, or a GoPro for the other style of video I do, or maybe you bought a really expensive camera. Either way, you need a lot more light in the room than you probably realise. And that's again where the windows are magical, because even though the windows may just look like a bit of window and you're like, oh cool, window, bit of light coming in, really there is loads of light coming in, and that is fantastic. So I'm a big fan of windows. Windows are great. One of the downside of windows though is you can't really control what the weather's doing. So if there's a lot of sun in the sky, then you may have big sun stripes in the room, or if it's a cloudy day, then there's not as much light in here. And that is when this thing comes into its own, the soft box. And it's called a soft box because it's soft and it's shaped a bit like a box. Pretty good naming system, pretty good naming system. And then there's also, so yeah, let me explain words. There are 4 super powerful mega bright bulbs, daylight bulbs in here, and they kick so much light into the room, it is super mega crazy. In fact, let me plug it in. Plug it in, plug it in, plug it in, stick it in the hole. Nope, it's not, wrong hole. That's what she said. Get in there, right. There you go. Done. Oh my God, look at that. Look how much light you can even see. Oh, it's crazy talking here. You can see it as my sort of phone camera's adjust. Oh, bumped into the back. Walking backwards is dangerous. You can see as my phone is adapting here how much brighter the bright softbox is compared to the classic British cloudy, drizzly day. It's so much more brightness, so much more mega bright, and that is the key behind all of this. Oh, look, I mean, you can see the difference there. That is crazy talk. I mean, look, when it adjusts to the ambient light, then that over there on the left is crazy. It's like the sun, but it's not. It's a softbox. A very cheaply made softbox. I got 2 of these for £100 British. And one of them's already broken, and the other one, this one's kind of broken. That's why I had to plug it in with the plug and not the switches on the back. So cheaply made, but kind of does the job. So you don't have to buy £400 ones if you don't want to. Just get a £100 set off the Amazon, which I'll maybe include a link below. If I was clever, I'd include some sort of Amazon affiliate link, but I'm not, so I'm just going to include the link and you can click it if you like. Feel free just to send me money for fun though at multiplier@multipliermusic.com. That is my PayPal. Conceptually, the point of the softbox is just to bring up the overall level of light in the room. As I said, no matter what camera you use, it will work a million times better if there's a lot of light in the room. What you'll find is if the weather outside is perfect and the sun's in just the right position and you have just the right windows and it's a perfect sunny day, or maybe a perfect slightly cloudy day, and you have your camera set up just so, then it might be pretty good quality, but then as soon as the sun moves behind a cloud or the sun moves around the sky, all of a sudden the light will be wrong in your room and your overall sort of video you see just won't look very good at all. Confusingly though, you may not realise if you just use your eyes, because your eyes have a crazy big dynamic range, so if it's bright or if it's not very bright, it looks pretty much the same to us, but cameras, they're not as clever as human eyes because they're all plastic and computer bits of magic. So you want to have crazy loads of light. And if you don't believe me, think about how expensive film cameras are, or some sort of like mega, hyper, super Hollywood TV show film cameras are. Think about how good they are, and the fact that even with those cameras, they still have crazy big bright lights. And that's because light is absolutely everything when it comes to filming things. And the good thing is, if you do have a good light source, such as a softbox, this one, you can use a pretty cheap camera most of the time. I mean, I use this awful webcam. It's still the best webcam you can buy, just you can't ever, I mean, good webcams just don't exist as a product. I can use this webcam for my screen recording videos. You can bash it, and ignore the bashing, but you can use this and it looks sufficiently good. And then if I want to get a better sort of quality, I use my GoPro for just sitting down, talking to you about stuff. And this is about a 3-year-old GoPro. It was the best at the time, but it's a 3-year-old GoPro. And with good light and a little bit of editing, my videos look fantastic. And then that's what that's about. Brilliant. Other important knowledge. Now, if you start to do more research on lighting, because maybe you want to step up your game in the filming space, you probably realise once you've done a little bit of research that this isn't the best place to put a light. The best place to put a light would be in the corners, really. So one over there, one quite high up, and then one over on the left, a bit lower down, but not quite as bright as that. So, and then there'd also be one at the back. So if you do have infinite space and infinite money, then you probably have 3 of these things at different sort of brightnesses. But in the real world, where we don't have studios the size of film sets, that's not really an option. So you have to work with what you have to work with. In my case, I use that window there just to fill out my face with the light a bit, and then that window there just to fill out the room a bit more with the light, and then this here is just a mega brightness bright machine, and that fills the room with even more light, which is amazeballs. Another important note, I'm just full of important information today. My walls are white, and therefore the light bounces around in a much more efficient way and a much more colour neutral way. If your walls are, say, bright green, then if you have one of these soft boxes, everything might look a little bit green, but then again your whole room's bright green, so maybe that's not the biggest dealio in the world. But important note though, I thought I'd just put it out there, that the more white wall sort of space you have, the better, because the light ping-pongs around the room, and that is great. But yeah, that is basically how I light my room. Ignoring the rules, lighting myself up from the back, which is the opposite. Normally you kind of fill in the back, but then light up the person, the object, from the front. But I went from the back, always go in from the back. I mean, always light from the back. No, don't light from the back. That's breaking the rules, remember. But I break the rules. I'm a maverick. So yeah, that's how I light my studio. I'm gonna do a little bit of a sort of spin. There you go. I'm back in the frame now. This is me standing very close to the softbox, so I probably look stupid. So I'm gonna stand further away from it, so it's less bright in my eyes, and I also look probably less ridiculous light-wise from over here. Maybe I'll do a spin. Maybe I'll try to get the angle right. I mean, I can't actually see what I look like on the camera now, but maybe if I just do a gentle sort of spinning motion, you can see the sort of vibe from the light. Now today is a very cloudy day. I would say it's a very cloudy to medium to very cloudy day, I would say. So a normal British day in most of the year, and that means there's not much light coming in through the windows, so I would say that is the main light source. Ooh, missed the light, the top light. That's the main light source, the softbox, and you can see it's quite dominating, but it still looks good and fine and ting when it comes to the actual video. But that is the key thing. In summary, softbox, which is daylight brightness, so it mixes in with the outside light perfectly, everything looks balanced and neutral, and also it is super bright, so it brings up the ambient level of light in the room, and that makes all your cameras work a million times better, and that means you don't have to spend £600 on a camera, you can spend £100 on a camera or 200, And to get maths, consumer advice. I have just stumbled into some consumer advice. Instead of spending £400 on a camera, instead spend 200 on a camera and 100 on light, and it will look much, much better. Brilliant, and I'm going to turn this off because it is bright, and also, ow, my arm, they heat up very, very hot. So some safety advice, do not touch it with kindling or any sort of flammable liquid after it's been on. It's very, very hot because of the heat and the inefficiency of the energy conversion from electricity to light. Kicks off some heat, just some physics there. There you have it, people. There you have it. That is how I light my studio. Hopefully you've learned something. Well, you probably have done, because chances, I mean, this is, if anything, this is completely the wrong sort of content for a music production, generally focused. I mean, I did one video on a candle, so I can't really say all my videos are music production, but most of them are. This one's sort of tangentially related to music production, but hopefully you find it interesting. I mean, I have had lots of people asking, how do I make better videos for the YouTube? How do I light it and such forth? And if not, at least you know something more than you did initially, and that's always a good thing. So I'm going to finish off this video before my arm falls off because it's so achy holding this camera up. I'm just going to do a gentle sort of spinning motion, fade to black. I'll catch you on the flippity flip, but yeah, I'll just the floor's creaking a bit, but that's okay. I'll just talk less loudly. Fade to black. Beautiful. Ah, my arm, crikey.